Erev Tov Chavrim, I'm Steve Benoon. You're watching Israeli News Live, and a lot of things are working on here in the background, guys, so I apologize. We still have not put everything out as of yet. There's so many things going on, but right now we do have breaking news. Haaretz is reporting that the airstrikes reported in Syria after Israel says rockets fired at the Golan Heights, but Syria is claiming that it was actually at 4:10 a.m. that the Israelis had fired on positions in Quneitra. Just across the border there, there were 3 explosions that were heard. 7 soldiers were wounded as a result of what they claim, the Syrians claim, was missiles that or some kind of fire came from Israel. Haaretz also reporting the same similar incident and saying that state media in Damascus says targets intercepted in the capital suburbs, and Israeli army says it does not believe rockets were mistakenly aimed. That was, of course, the claim that the Syrians launched rockets towards Israel. So perhaps there is a retaliation going on. And of course, since then, there's been more strikes back and forth. That was reported at 4 a.m. on Haaretz, but we're now getting another report coming out right now. Let me see if I can find it again here. Here we go, right here. This is only 10 minutes ago. On Elent News there, local source report Syrian air defenses reportedly engaging again in Damascus. This would be the 3rd wave of rockets coming in towards Damascus. Now, from what I can gather thus far, from what I'm seeing here, there was an initial strike in Quneitra. Syria maybe retaliated as a result of their soldiers being injured there. That was at 4:10 a.m. That was being reported on Israel Conflict News. They were reporting from the moderate government of Syria. Their Mod Gov SY, that was reported there on the ground. And of course, we're getting the fact that there has been a 3rd wave coming in at Damascus. So Israel is striking Damascus, and I cannot help but wonder if this has not been a provocative move, I hate to say it, guys, but on Israel's part in order to get this battle going on with Damascus. Now, there's a lot more going on, though, than what you might realize right now. The United States coalition has struck oil boats that are moving the oil on the Euphrates River there. There was an attack earlier today on that assets as well. The U.S. trying to prevent Damascus from getting any hands on oil to continue their military fight to take back the Idlib province. We are clearly seeing this biblical prophecy of Isaiah 17 unfold right before our eyes. And don't forget, as I've said to you many, many times, and I'll say it again, God is not pleased with Israel, and neither, when I say Israel, that being the state of Israel, or the United States, NATO, and its allies for their attack against the Syrian nation. As it clearly states in Isaiah 17, you forgot the God of your salvation. That's to the Jews of Israel, and to the believers, the Christians that are supporting the attack on Damascus. He says, you have forgotten the rock, your rock. Okay, let me just pull that up. This is really serious, guys. I don't see why people miss this over and over and over. You think because Isaiah 17 says that Damascus becomes a ruinous heap that it's just an automatic green light to blow the people right off the map. But verse 3 says the fortress also shall cease from Ephraim. Ephraim were the Christians of Damascus. You know, the very Christians. That's why he speaks about Ephraim. Paul went down there to kill them all as well. And God put a stop to him on his road down there to kill all those Christians in Damascus. Had it not been for Yeshua putting a stop to what Paul was about to do, he would have tried to fulfill the very same scripture. Right? But go on down and see what God thinks right there. See, right there in verse 9, in that day shall his strong cities be as forsaken forsaken places, which were forsaken from before the children of Israel, after the manner of the woods and the lofty forests, and it shall be a desolation. For what? You have forgotten the God of your salvation. That's why you did this to Damascus. You forgot the God of your salvation, right? And you have not been mindful of the rock of thy stronghold. That's Jesus Christ. That's both Christians and Jews uniting together to destroy Damascus, where the Christians have been there for the last 2,000 years. You want to wipe it off the face of the map thinking you're doing God a service. What a shame. What a shame. You know, and what gets me is you still get people saying, I'm going to stand with Israel. Why don't you stand with the believers in Israel then? You know, Ariel Hyde, he just put out a message, and I think it was on Facebook. Somebody sent that to me, and his mother's been on Israeli News Live before, exposing how that the Orthodox community in Israel trying to throw believers out. Ariel said that just recently they came in there, the Orthodox, and the police would do nothing about it while they spit in the faces of the believers in Jerusalem after they had their service there in their church. They spit in their faces. They were taking and pepper spraying them and everything else. And you called it, this is what we're supposed to be standing with? And mind you, that's not the only thing. Look at here. Haaretz. This was just reported May 28th, 2019. First openly gay Orthodox rabbi ordained in Jerusalem. Right? Netanyahu's already been having these parades for years. And I'm not against gay people. Let me just say this here to the gay community. All right? Have you ever thought that maybe they're doing this just to be able to bring you out, to be able to take and do an evil later? You might be set, maybe you're being set up. Because the gay community never wanted to come to Jerusalem. But as I said though, don't call Jerusalem the most holiest city on the planet if you're going to do this type of thing. And then here, look here, now we got another one. Oh, it's not just that one. Now we have the Times of Israel. We Orthodox Jews desperately need gay rabbis. And as Christians, you say you stand with Israel. Really? I'm just blown away. I'm really lost. But it shouldn't surprise me, because now also the Times of Israel is reporting now, want to save democracy? Begin by studying the Talmud. By the way, that's what Shapira and Mark Biltz and all these others down in South America are trying to do right now too. They're bringing the Talmud, Kabbalah, and all these other types of ungodly books and bring the people under the yoke of the Jewish people and the Jewish rabbis in Israel. And of course, you might as well just forsake Yeshua if you're going to go that way, because that's what you're going to do. You're going to end up forsaking him. You know, I don't encourage anybody to forsake Yeshua. Yeshua, Jesus Christ, is the only way. And we were supposed to be taking Jesus Christ to the people. We're supposed to take the love of Yeshua, his salvation, grace to the Jewish people. But instead, they've reversed it around. And now they're taking the believers of Yeshua and they're taking them from Christ, placing them under Talmudic rabbis and saying that the light is to come out of Jerusalem. It will through your two witnesses, but not through a bunch of rabbis that are promoting not only the Talmud, but they're promoting in the need of gay rabbis and ordaining gay rabbis and everything else, which I know churches are doing the same thing. But like I said, to the gay people, you guys are probably being set up and don't even know it. You think they're for you. It's kind of like the Christians as well. You, the Christians, you really think that the Orthodox community is for you. You don't know that the Talmud teaches that Gentiles are to be slaves to the Jewish nation. Well, you know, the funny thing is, many of you already are and you don't even realize it. You know, you have these huge grape vineyards over in Israel, And we think that we've been doing a great service by going to volunteer and pick grapes in Israel every year. Saves them millions of dollars on having to hire the pickers over there to start with. It's a major movement. And guys, I'm just really taken back by all this. Not to mention, I got to really get into this scripturally with you guys. Look what's happening to Syria. You know, whatever happened with love your neighbor as yourself. You know? And the funny thing is, in the Talmud, it just depends on which rabbi writes what. Rashi actually says that the Gentiles come under the same commandments and laws as the Jews do. Rambam says no, you get 7 Noahide laws for the Gentile Christian. And in fact, by the way, they got this new one coming out. I just got an email from a friend of mine who lives in Israel. They're passing out pamphlets saying that if you are a Gentile living in Israel, you will come under the Noahide laws or you will be thrown out of the country. Wait till I share that with you. Wait till I share that with you. Listen, if you ever stood with Israel, start standing with the believers in Israel. Start standing with those Jewish people that are recognizing Yeshua is the Messiah. And for the Orthodox community that do not recognize him as Messiah, pray for them, that their eyes will be open. Pray that God will send his 2 witnesses, that he will open up their eyes to bring the gospel of Jesus Christ to them, to shake them, to have a shaking in this nation. Do not stand with a building of a 3rd temple that will not be used as a house of prayer, but rather as a house of slaughter. And your Lord has already given his life in order for us to have salvation. You know, I'm just at this point here, I'm not quite ready to speak on these things right now. There's so many, what happened is I kind of prematurely brought this out because I'm sitting here, was working on things, and of course, and I run into this situation tonight where we're getting the information coming out right now that, let me just pull it up real quick, maybe we can pull up something more on this now, Damascus. Yep, see, it's already really getting going now. The Al Masada News: Syria air defenses attempt to intercept suspected Israeli strikes in southwest Damascus. So it's already starting to flare up over there, and it's just determined. You know, they're going to take down Damascus no matter what. The Scripture says they would do it. You know, but the thing is, when God puts Israel in there, to me, it's all 12 tribes. It's not just the house of Judah that is over there in the modern state of Israel today. It's also through the NATO forces. They just do not care about the Christians that live in this area. Syrian air defenses attempted to intercept suspected Israeli strikes in southwest Damascus. That's at 4:30 a.m. They're reporting it on over there. Let me just see if we have anything fresh coming out of there right now. Jerusalem Post is also reporting this, missiles towards the eastern Quneitra countryside. Well, looky here, Jerusalem Post. Israel fired missiles toward the eastern Quneitra countryside, causing damage and killing 3 soldiers and wounding 7 other soldiers, according to the Syrian media. So at least the Jerusalem Post is bringing out what the Syrian media has brought out. So again, I don't doubt a bit that the Syrians may have retaliated for that strike right there and responded back with fire as well. So, you know, but like I said, it's just looking for an excuse at this point here to be able to take Damascus out. And maybe this is the one they're going to use. We'll have to wait and see. Might just be another tit for tat right now, but the situation in Syria is escalating on a daily measure. Listen, friends, we're going to be doing some things over on Patreon. I'm not going to say anything else other than that. We're going to be doing some things on Patreon. a lot of things have been happening lately, and there's a lot of very serious things happening. I'm just going to share some things over there, and some of you may be getting some letters from us. I'll just say that. Maybe getting some letters from us as well. We're seeing some very serious things going on, and I would like for you to be able to be aware of that. So, at any rate, we love you guys. We thank you for your support, standing with this ministry. And tomorrow, hopefully from the very beginning in the morning through the day, we can get some things put together for you. But if you do watch on Patreon, also pay attention to those for upload tomorrow. There'll only be one upload on Patreon. I will be sharing things here with our friends here on Israeli News Live as well. The heat is tremendously high for what we're saying, but we really appreciate the fact that many of you also are standing with us and standing against the evils that are happening. Listen, we've got to make a stand, because the freedoms in our country are going to be taken away from us as well if we don't make a stand. And not to mention, this whole... I'll wait. God bless you. We love you. Thank you, and Erev Tov.